Great peace, great peace, great peace. So I won't be out here long. It's kind of chilly out here. I'm paying attention to the forecast. So we had some hail rain today, and I want to get back to next week really, because like the weather is gonna change up and it's gonna start to be a lot better. But I want to talk about what Demcat talked about. I want to pay attention to what he said, because what he said was interesting. He put emphasis on the fact that, you may not necessarily want to support a black business just because they're black. And then it got me to thinking like, well, who could you support, indicates that, there's trade wars happening between powerful nations, such as America and China. China and the continent of Africa. And I thought like I would have to support, see it's raining right now, I would have to support India. I would have to support India. And the reason I said I would support India is because when you look at India, right, they have an economy that is very versatile. So they not only export labor, they also export different skills such as medical expertise, IT technology, data collections as far as like homeland security, compartmental governmental affairs. They do a lot of things. So like this right here, you get this, it's important, because when you look forward to like what is going to happen, how am I going to be able to get as much money out of the money that I already have? How can I get as much bang for my buck? And I got to thinking like, what, you probably need the rupee, and you also probably need the yuan, because those two go hand in hand. Because like there's no one saying, in the securities regulation exchange saying you can't have this, you can't have that. Like, if you are able to get the rupee, then you want to get the rupee. So like that's not really the issue. Like, and like I agree with what he said. I didn't see the Wallow podcast, the Gilly Watt podcast, but like I agree with what they were saying though. Like you don't necessarily have to support black business. Like I just had a sour experience with a entrepreneur, who was supposed to be a black startup. I paid for the product and I didn't receive the product. So in those situations, you know what I mean? Like you really want to rely on foreign investment. You don't necessarily want to do anything domestic as far as, investing in certain startups, investing in certain businesses, investing in certain companies. You don't want to do it. And like, so I agree with him when he says that, like, you know what, let me invest abroad. Because like, if you're going to shortchange me, you're going to, basically engage in financial piracy, then in those cases, you want to look overseas. You want to look abroad where like everything is kind of a little better. You know what I mean? Like as far as like what you'll get if you were to leave or if you were to stay. Like you see how Indians, like every time you call your bank or something like that, especially Chase Bank, if you call your bank and like they say like, what's the issue? Can we solve this? 9 times out of 10, they'll solve it. If you have a problem with a dispute on one of your transactions, they'll solve it. So that's really not the issue. So that's all I want to say for this video. You see, I got to represent Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears, Walter Payton, championship run, Super Bowl. I like the Chicago Sky. They drafted a good guard. So, sky's the limit. We'll see how it all goes. We'll see how it all goes. Great peace, Yakoki.